Hey everybody, welcome to Thursday. It's quickly becoming the Sol Fire Club on Thursdays, but there's so much to cover, not just around Solana, but Bitcoin yield on Solana again, and the vision of crypto, and why I got fascinated by Solana in the very first place we'll cover today. But I heard something in Feb 2021 that triggered me to dig. By March 2021, I had a position. And we're going to uncover exactly why, the reason for that is. Anyway, thank you, Sean D, TND Tesla, K8, everybody, all the mods. Thank you all for coming. Cat with a K. Let's get into the story. This one is called Decentralized Nasdaq and way more. It's the merging of TradFi with blockchain. And that's why we are in this, ladies and gentlemen. It's huge. And of course, not financial advice, just a guy on the internet. And shout out to Swamirabitima. This is a really nice quote. Enter the Patreon family, seekers of knowledge. Right. Family, seekers of knowledge. I forgot to cover myself up. I appreciate that, Swami. And let's get into the story. First of all, let's talk about the Solana news. First of all, this is a big part of kind of what had me obsessed in the very beginning, and that was the vision. Originally, Tolly. I think he had the coffee and a beer-induced vision of what a blockchain could be and how they could crack a lot of the problems around decentralization, etc. Cybertruck Crypto, thank you for coming. But Solana was originally founded to build a blockchain that's so fast and so cheap that you could put a central working central limit order book on top of it. And Solana mainnet launched in March of 2020. And now here we are, 5 years in, and despite everything that we've gone through and everything we have achieved, it's becoming increasingly clear that there's a long way to go, and all the pieces are in place to pull off that actual vision. So let's talk about exactly what that is. And this is a complex little chart that you got to look at for a while, and I won't dwell too much on it, but if you go back to Tolly's fabled 2 coffees and a beer epiphany, Nasdaq on Solana was the North Star for Solana. And once I heard Nasdaq on a blockchain, that got my juices flowing. Solana's goal, again, create a blockchain so fast to support a decentralized trading platform, unmanipulatable, but faster and cheaper than Nasdaq. Okay, and current blockchains were not optimized for that. Now they want to bring in what are called multiple concurrent leaders. By using these multiple leaders to process transactions simultaneously, Solana can prevent censorship and allow market makers to cancel outdated orders quickly, improving pricing. And when you know how a market works, if somebody puts something out there and it's not bought up or an order is not filled, it needs to be eliminated fast in order to clear space for more orders to come in and more fills to happen. That's the easy way to think about it. But again, by having multiple leaders process transactions simultaneously, Solana can prevent that key censorship and also be redesigning the whole consensus. They have this thing called ANZA, which is the new way of tweaking the consensus mechanism from scratch, or maybe wholly, I'm not sure, but to help it really perform better than any Nasdaq out there. They have the speed. They just need a couple of other bells and whistles to be able to make it happen. And it's not just that vision. And the question is, what exchange will move to a blockchain first, and what blockchain will that be? We shall see. But this is the other thing that's also happening right now is Solana is leaning very, very hard into the tokenization of everything. Now, in the past, Solana was this kind of unknown, risky chain that sometimes went out and stuff, and it was never considered ready for prime time. But now it is. And we're seeing a lot of the tokenization of everything happening now on Solana, which is huge. So between the blockchain Nasdaq aspect and the tokenization of everything, real world assets, and all the other stuff that's happening, the future is still looking very bright. And again, one thing I do is I compare Solana all the time to all the other chains across all the metrics and across all the roadmaps. No other chain is doing anything remotely like what this chain is doing. And that's important to remember. Now, this is a little first meme of the day. I love it when a plan comes together because that was always the reason I was interested in this. Speed, better, cheaper, faster, winner takes most. All the principles that have taken me through my life could apply to a blockchain, but also to turn or bring something like the Nasdaq to a blockchain was the big plan. So hopefully we're getting close there. In addition, spent a lot of time with FX in the past in my life, and now FX trading is coming to the blockchain as well, particularly pairs like USD, Euro. I always say everything is a pair, but foreign exchange trading is massive. And the FX volatility between the dollar and the euro lately has been bonkers. And here, it looks like Orca and Radium are owning this market. The important thing is, in the past, to be able to swap currencies, it was very expensive, very clunky. Now you can do it with stablecoins. This adds another great value prop to the world of stablecoins and the world of blockchain and crypto, and to be able to do things very quickly and very fast. Blazo, good to see you, buddy, in here. Thank you for coming. I know all this stuff resonates with you too. So super, super exciting to see this happening as well. And also, shout out to Orca and Radium for doing so well in this field. Nice to see Orca winning. That probably, by the way, that probably explains the Orca pump a few days ago as well. Anyway, alts are back. Also, the competition are getting completely obliterated. This is pretty stunning. 24-hour app revenue dominates. Solana now does 738% more than Binance Smart Chain, 331% more than Ethereum, and 623% more than Base, and 4,525% more than Sui. I always hear, oh, Sui and ETH and Binance are coming for Solana. Well, the data doesn't say that. I do have a small bag of Sui, just in case it catches up, but I think the lead is pretty far ahead, at least for this bull run. I'm Code. Thank you so much. And also so much talk about how Ethereum is so relevant. But if you look at this table and just go through the different pieces of data here, it's kind of crazy. Scalability, EVM doesn't do it. Finality, EVM doesn't do it. Fees, way too high, way too variable, doesn't do it. Liquidity, fragmented, hard to work with. Token development is a pain in the butt to launch. You need a custom smart contract to develop anything. And I'll show you in a minute how you don't need that for Solana too. KYC, KYB requires custom smart contract development. Corporate actions, again, custom development, etc. You get a lot of stuff out of the box with Solana. With EVM, it's simply way too complicated, too slow, too expensive, requires too much development resources. It's simply not going to make it unless they fix something. And the good news is Vitalik has a plan. They're going to simplify Ethereum, and that should be ready hopefully by 2028. So I don't know if I'm going to be around here in 2028, but we'll see. Either way, it'll be fun to watch. Now, this is another one that popped on the radar. I always talk, and on DCI, I was talking about how these things are changing so quickly. All of a sudden, we have a new player, all right, Solana-based Axiom Exchange, which I did not hear of till yesterday. Literally became the third biggest earner out there in terms of protocol revenue generated across all chains. Now, this varies hour to hour, day to day. Sometimes there are big spikes, but Axiom appeared on my radar. And shout out to Marino as well. There's a couple of things that are happening, and this ties into the TradFi global financial infrastructure is coming to Solana in a very big way across many different metrics. First of all, the Solana apps pulling in, a ton of money in April alone. Builders are earning 2.5x more than the network itself. So people that build dApps, say for example, the chain makes $1 million. The builders that build the dApps are making 2.5 million, and that is massive. And TradFi is onboarding, a huge amount of ability to finance stuff, maybe $500 million in credit lines as well. And there are 7 ETFs and ETPs live across Canada, Europe, and Asia. And those ETFs are coming to the US real soon too. And Solana's transitioning from Web3 tech to global financial infrastructure. And this is so interesting. And I'm not even mentioning the treasury aspect here as well. We'll talk about the SOL treasuries in a minute too. Now, dApp revenue distribution as well. Interesting here, you see another view of this Axiom name that pops on. But Pump.Fun has still made the most revenue in Q1 2025. I expect Q2 to be quite different as from Solana floor. Axiom is that little tiny orange slice, a little sliver. And look how Axiom has exploded just in a very short window of time. Again, this whole pie chart could look completely different in 2 or 3 months, but we'll see. The other big ones there, Phantom, big money spinner, Gito also on there. Radium, what's a red? Photon is there too, and a whole bunch of other players. So everybody's making money on the chain, big money. And yes, last week I talked about how you could earn Bitcoin yield on Solana from things like staking. Now there's a new play in town, Lemon Drop, which officially unlocked for all Phantom users on Solana. And basically, if you have any what they used to call dust or excess fees available, that can be converted into Bitcoin. Okay, literally, it works in the background. Any transactions, round up your Solana transactions and convert them into Bitcoin. And it is fascinating to see more stuff. Again, what's the coolest thing about this is basically the two leading chains, Bitcoin and Solana, are doing everything together. And that's powerful. But we'll get back to more news about that too in a second. First of all, Bitcoin is still number one in terms of social engagements. 82 million engagements, I think, over the last 30 days. But second is Solana. Solana now has more social engagements than Ethereum. Solana has 34.23 million social engagements and Ethereum 33.61 million social engagements. The tide has turned, okay, despite the pleasure of the Lindy effect that Ethereum has had for a long time. Now, Solana has also eclipsed it in social, second only to Bitcoin. Maybe you could actually look at this and then you'd clearly understand why there's no such thing as ETH treasuries or Cardano treasuries or XRP treasuries. But there are Bitcoin and there are Solana treasuries. The other thing that's important about this, not just that Solana's ahead of ETH in social engagement, but it's also ahead of all the other layer ones combined, all of them. And that's a staggering statistic too. So as usual, winner takes most. I'm hoping the day will come where we'll be able to break this stuff out further or things will leap further ahead. And speaking as well of more Bitcoin stuff, this is from Zeus. ZBTC supply is up 153% in 7 days. And this is the whole, get ready for this word too. I didn't have it last week, but this is called SOL BitcoinFi, Solana BitcoinFi, instead of DeFi, etc. Now there is an actual category unto itself called Solana BitcoinFi. Again, enabling people to use both chains to get whatever you need to do. It's so impressive. It's gaining traction and it's happening fast, evolving very fast. Now, Solana got a lot of flack in 2024 from all the meme coin revolution and everything else happening. People are like, oh, it's just a meme coin chain. Well, it hardened the chain. But unfortunately, whether good or bad, the meme coins look like they're coming back. This is the aggregate market cap of tokens launched by Launchpad. And you can see it's gone up. So either the value of the memes are coming back or they're pumping out more of these memes. We'll see what that is. But either way, it looks like Pump.Fun is not dead. And here we go again. This is a fascinating little piece of news too. There's an app called Believe app, and they are shaking up how project funding is done on Solana. And they have this thing called Tweet to Token. And it lets anybody launch a token by simply replying to a tweet. And now it has the third most meme coin volume of any launchpad behind Pump.Fun and Meteora, the other two big players. So again, things are happening so fast. And this could be one of the reasons why the memes are coming back, why Pump.Fun is coming back. But the big point of all this, yeah, meme coins are crazy and ridiculous. But now you can create your own meme coin by literally tweeting something. That is innovation. And that's the piece that we need to focus on here, not the fact that there could be 10 more million meme coins soon. But now anybody can make a tweet and create one. I think that's bonkers anyway. Personally, I find it very, very interesting. And you can see here the green line. This is from Blockworks. This is the network revenue is exploding again. There was a bit of a quiet patch. It's like everybody went away for March. Everybody was freaking out about tariffs and stuff. And now all of a sudden, revenue is back. Transaction fees and out of protocol tips are monstrous compared to other chains too. So that's also good news. And Solana is topping fees in the last 24 hours, making 3.21 million and 13.85 million in 7 days. Tron beat them over 7 days, but Solana beat them over the last 24 hours. And so that's kind of just the lay of the land of fees. Again, things are coming back. And this could also help maybe trigger the banana zone if it comes. A lot of people are expecting that to happen sometime before October. But also, if history repeats, November is typically the best month for Solana. So watch this space. Hang tough till November. And the summer, we'll see. Another view from Artemis of fees by chain over the last 24 hours. Again, Solana way up there. Hyperliquid, number 3. Tron 2. ETH 4. Bitcoin 5, Binance 6, Base 7. There was a time where Base was making a lot more money than Ethereum, but looks like they've tweaked that. And Solana made 3.5 million in the last 24 hours. And shout out to Cardano at the bottom with Ripple. They both made $8,000 in 24 hours. So, yeah. Anyhow, at least they're reporting again, which is good. Transactions by chain, Solana 104 million, Base 10.8 million, Tron 9.3 million, Sui 5 million, Near 4.9 million, Say 4.7 million. Say is catching up to Sui. A little dark horse sneaking in the back door there. Keep an eye on Say. I might have a look at, that would be an interesting video, Say versus Sui. Because I know that market cap of Say is a lot less than Sui. But if they're doing the same in transactions, who knows? Could be some value there. And you can see everything else down the line. And that's where we are with transactions. And then revenue. This is transaction revenue, as we mentioned before, the actual dollar amounts. You can see how much higher it is as of yesterday, 7.961 million versus the next follower, 2.5 million. Again, coming up fast. And then hype. Everybody talks about hype. Hype has good days and hype has bad days, but also yesterday, Hyperliquid made about 13% of application revenue by chain compared to Solana, which owns 2/3 of it all. Ethereum, 9.75%, Binance, 5.94%, Arbitrum, 1.12%, and others, 6%. Now, other stuff that's happening on the chain too, LSTs, not LSD, LST, liquid staking, is back. The game is back and everybody's jumping in. Now Phantom are launching their own liquid staking token. And that's called, I think it's PSOL, Phantom Staked Sol, PSOL. So Phantom is a very impressive wallet and it's responsible for onboarding hundreds of millions to Solana. So well done. And you can earn SOL rewards, maintain liquidity, and help the network when you do that. Also, I haven't dug into a thing called HUMA. It's a new thing. It's a collaboration between HUMA Finance and Jupiter Exchange. But if you stake Jupiter, which I do, the Jupiter stakers are eligible for exclusive HUMA rewards plus pre-sale perks. So check that out if you stake and you want to get some free money. It's always fun. I just wish I had the time to do more of it. I normally don't bother, but if you're out there and you want a couple $100 or sometimes the rewards can be $800 and more, it's worth having a look. Now, this is another interesting thing, and I always talk about how things are colliding and everything is connected. But Lyft is looking for some new revenue lines on Solana. The $7 billion firm Lyft joins Solana DePIN, taps with Hivemapper to map street data. And this is one of the most successful, or probably the most successful DePIN project on the planet. And Lyft is now in. Now, the reason I say there before Annihilation, because I do believe the Tesla Robotaxi Cybercab will eliminate Lyft and Uber once it comes to their cities. They may have a few years left, but in certain cities, the days are numbered, like starting in Austin, Texas. Who knows if they'll exist by the end of this year? We shall see. And let's talk a little bit about Solana Treasuries, because this is the new corner we have to keep a focus on. Dig into HUMA. First of all, shout out to Gumshoe. This is how SOL Treasuries are on fire. Just to put things in perspective, just over the last week, and he posted this about 12 hours ago, Bonk accumulated $10 million worth of SOL with Bonk SOL, and Bonk has their own whole DeFi capability as well. It's crazy. SOL Strategies bought $20 million. DeFi Dev bought $23.6 million worth of SOL. Upexi holds $107 million worth of SOL. And that's 160.6 million, or 0.16 of the supply, just in a week. It's crazy. This institutional demand is something to watch carefully, because, there'll only ever be one MicroStrategy, but maybe there's emerging some type of SOL version of MicroStrategy. And I know all of these players that are doing this have watched the playbook from Michael Saylor for Bitcoin, and now they're trying to do the same thing with Solana. So watch this carefully. Now, this one, DeFi Dev, they're literally buying every day or two. They now hold 609,190 SOL, which is worth about $107.6 million. Now, what I did was, because I get the question, what's the NAV premium? Well, first of all, look at how they are buying. These are the orange dots, and I like their graphics. This reminds me very much of how MicroStrategy now share their information. But each one of those orange dots, and orange is historically the color of Bitcoin, they took it for Solana. Solana should normally be purple. But anyway, I'll leave that there. It's good because I think Michael Saylor says every Sunday, we need more dots. We need more dots, which is his bat signal that he just bought more Bitcoin during the week. And then he announces on Monday. But it looks like these guys are following the same thing. Price be damned. They are stacking as they can as quickly as possible. Now, the DeFi Dev Nav Premium, we are working on a model that will calculate all the treasuries, all the NAV premiums for all the treasuries in real time across Bitcoin, Solana, and mixed bag treasuries too. But here, as of a few minutes ago, the market cap $177 million. The price of DeFi Dev 88.42. There's about 2.001 million shares outstanding. They have 609,160. It was SOL as of 2 days ago or yesterday. And that means their SOL per share is about 0.304 Solana per share. And remember, the whole miracle of the MicroStrategy thing is what I call share accretion. So if you bought a share in 2000, you now have 8.3 times the amount of Satoshis per share today than you did in August, September 2000. And that's what's important. And to calculate the SOL value per share, very simple. You look at the amount of SOL per share, multiply it by the price of SOL, and then you get $51.76 of Solana per share. And that NAV premium is currently 1.71, which is not as egregious as some players. But also, if you look at Marathon Mining, sometimes they're trading literally a NAV premium of 1.00. Crazy. Anywho, let's talk about a little bit of technical analysis. Not much has changed since I did this last week, except SOL is up $10 higher. It may not feel that way right now. It's been very volatile. It did hit nearly, I think, 185 yesterday. And there's a clear interim top. Right now, it's 170. So it's taking a bit of a breather, but the whole market is taking a bit of a breather. Remember, nothing goes straight up. But the most important thing is Solana is still in an uptrend. This chart on my right is I pair Solana against everything. So SOL divided by whatever asset to make sure it's still beating everything. Some days it doesn't beat everything, but most days it does, especially when it's on a rampage. I think for this cycle, Solana is the ETH of this cycle. So it runs first, Bitcoin runs first, and then SOL is the first run after that. But now we're seeing a very fragmented crypto space where anything can run on any given day. So it's not like it used to be in the old days. But the blue line there is the uptrend. That is still strong, and that looks like it'll continue. How high we go, we're not sure. We'll get back to 250, 270, where we were back in January. That's quite possible. So just be patient, my friends. We'll get there. There's so much goodness. And the SOL upside model, this is a free model on TradingView that we built. You can all download it and play with it. But this gives you perspective of where SOL should be. Okay, Solana has infinitely more transactions, infinitely more users, infinitely more breadth of dApps, more speed. The dApps make more revenue. The users are much happier. But for some reason, it still trades at a fraction of the market cap of ETH, which I believe it'll change one day. So it should definitely be worth at least 50% of ETH, which would take the price to $295. And right now, it's not there. If we get to 70% of ETH, it'll go to 470. Last week when I did this, it was 270 at 50% of ETH, so it's gone up $25. And it will get there because over time, markets are weighing machines, not emotional machines. And dominance, still the same, 2.75, nothing big there. And that's the quick story today. None of this has changed in the last week, with the exception that TradFi and blockchain and DeFi is coming. But this is probably the most striking piece of news, though, as well, is SOL meme du jour from Jim Cramer. A little bit of a hopium hit here. And sadly, I've got the same color shirt as him. Whoops. That was a wardrobe malfunction. Jim Cramer, I can't believe some people on the internet think SOL will go over 2,000 this year. It's not going to happen. It's just not. But this guy is a genius because whatever he says is not going to happen, happens. And he is undefeated. His record is almost perfect. So be careful out there. This thing could go to 2,000. I know a lot of people like Van Eck, etc., have a $3,000 target, but that's out to 2028. So in the meantime, stay safe, my friends. Thank you, mods, for being here. You're amazing. And hit the like and subscribe. I'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Can't believe the week is so fast. Have a good night. Bye.